Hello there, it's Iced Hazelnut and
Grape Adler.
We're back with another podcast. Just talking about nothing and everything, crazy things. Background noise, that's us. Things that have happened to us, or our opinions, or stuff.
Oh my lord.
So what were we going to talk about today?
Think about earthquakes.
Natural
disasters.
We live in the Midwest.
Yes.
So usually
we live not in Tornado Alley, but we're pretty close where we get the residual of Tornado Alley.
Right, Tornado Alley, yeah.
So.
And yes, we have experienced one bad one that it did touch on the outer part of town. Mm-hmm. Remember, our brother worked at the video store at the time, and he's like, all of a sudden, it was just a wall
of mud coming toward. He went to go close his windows because he's like, oh, it's just a storm, because it had been happening all summer.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I thought it was just another. He's like, oh, I didn't close my windows.
Yeah.
And he went out, and he's like, all of a sudden, he just saw a wall of mud coming towards him. So he ran back into the store.
It ran under the desk. He was the only one there.
Yeah. And his boss called him, the guy who ran the store. Yeah. And he's like, Alex, oh, sorry. Dang it. He's like, get under the desk. Yeah. And he's like, way ahead of you.
Yeah.
I'm like, uh-oh. But he was okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, of course, yeah. And us too, because we actually, where his job was what, 2 blocks away?
Yeah, it's not even a mile away.
2-3 blocks away from where we live, our house. So
we had a lot of shingles come off the roof. We had water damage.
It was scary because you hear that you feel that pressure and your ears plug, and it was just freaking scary.
They call it. It sounded like a freight train.
Yeah,
that's what they have a special here. Yeah, they call it that.
Yeah,
and that's what. Yeah, that's what. It's just loud. You can't hear anything. You can't even hear yourself think. So,
but our main focus was earthquakes.
Oh yeah, sorry. Well, natural disasters.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
No, you always wanted like.
I was like, every time I go to California, I'm like, ooh, I wonder if I'll feel an earthquake, because I've been there.
Handful of times.
I want to say 4 or 5 times.
I've only been there once.
Yeah.
So.
And no, I didn't ever feel an earthquake. But I'm like, okay, not that I wanted to, but I'm like, ooh, what if it happens? You know?
Right.
It's like, so, and I never, you know what? I never did ask my friend who I stayed with. I worked with her at a job here, and then she ended up moving out there, and I went and visited her. And then when she got married, I visited them when they got their first apartment, and then again when they got their first house, and there's still the house they're in right now, but but anywho, I never felt an earthquake, and actually the only time I felt an earthquake was when we were in
Las Vegas,
baby. That was
10 years ago or 11 years ago.
Yeah.
So.
And where were we?
We were walking from
MGM.
MGM.
I think it's MGM that has that walk.
There's a walkway, and then I can't remember.
Elevated walkway.
Yeah, elevated walkway. I can't remember what the other casino hotel.
I think just area. A parking lot into the MGM and back then. But on the way there,
we were going into there because we had to come back to go. We parked at MGM.
Okay. Oh, I see.
We were with cousins.
Right.
So, we have family there. So we. We're walking on, and it looks solid. It looked like some kind of stone, granite, or something. Yeah. This bridge, and it was like shaking. It was like vibrating and bouncing.
And there was a few people on there. I'm like, wow, this thing is not stable. I'm scared.
Yeah.
It was like a little shaky.
It was us, which we were like 6, 7 of us.
Yeah.
And then like a little family of 4. Mm-hmm. But it's not like anybody was jumping, or we had kids with us, but they weren't jumping around, being know. Well, they were in strollers, the little ones.
Right.
And
I found that weird.
Yeah. So we went, and then when we came back, I mean, it was hours later we came back that way. And it was solid. It was a regular bridge. We're like, well, that was weird. I wonder what happened. Maybe it was the highway, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Turns out traffic. The traffic. Turns out the next day, our cousin's like, hey, there was an earthquake in, what was it, L.A.? And the aftershock came all the way to Vegas, and that's what it was.
Yeah.
I was like,
that was weird. I was like, oh, wow, I felt an earthquake, and I didn't even know it. Like, son of a...
I felt earthquake here, which actually there's this theory that where we are...
We do have a fault. What is it called? The San Madras, I think? San Madras? Somebody look it up. I'll look it up. Go ahead, talk about it.
Yeah, because there's a theory that we're on a tectonic plate, like just a solid, but if we were, it might have faulted. That's my theory. Unless they just didn't know and they didn't say anything. Because I always was under the impression we didn't get earthquakes, but we do get earthquakes. And I was going to work one morning. I actually worked a morning shift. And we at this famous mermaid coffee shop, as I like to call it. And I had to be there at like 4:30 because we opened at 5 a.m. I was like, yay. And so I had a Cavalier. I don't have his car anymore. I had a Cavalier. I get to work. I'm like 5 minutes early, I think, and nobody's there yet. It's just me, of course. So I had to wait for the manager to come in to open the door. Because I wasn't a manager. I was just a worker. I was just a barista. And I turned my car off. And then all of a sudden, my car just starts shaking. I'm going, oh my God, is it the transmission? What happened to my car? Why is I turned it off, right? No, it was an earthquake. I was like, and I was sitting there like, oh, wait, because it stopped. Yeah. Like, it wasn't that, maybe 30 seconds. Oh my gosh. Maybe 2008, 2009, somewhere around there.
I'm trying to remember where I was. I think I was working here. Yeah, I was working somewhere in town here.
But you were asleep.
It was 4 a.m.
Oh,
4 a.m. Yeah, that's why I didn't feel it.
Yeah, you were probably, because you didn't start way later than I did.
Didn't my mom say that she felt the bed move?
No, that was a different earthquake.
Oh, Jesus.
That was another earthquake, maybe like years later.
Oh, okay.
And all of a sudden I started jostling. I'm like, what is going on? And my mother called me and she's like, hey, what was that? My bed moved, because I said it was the wind. I was like, I don't know. But I'm like, it moved her bed. And she's a huge queen size bed.
Yeah.
I was like,
it had to be.
Yeah. And it's just like, my bed moved. I'm like, then it was an earthquake. And sure enough, the next day it was all over the news that we had an earthquake the night before. So I've been through 3 of them.
Wow.
Yeah. The first one, my transmission dropped. Great. It did not.
Mm-hmm.
It did not, thankfully. So what's up with the...
Oh, it's the New Madrid.
New Madrid, okay.
I said New Mattress or something like that. The New Madrid Fault extends approximately 120 miles southward from the area of Charleston, Missouri, and Cairo, Illinois, through New Madrid and Caruthersville, following Interstate 55 to Blytheville, then to Marked Tree, Arkansas. And I believe...
At least we're not in the fault line.
I believe... No.
Is there another fault line?
Hold on.
Is there another fault line, though?
That's the only one I know of. That's the big one here in the Midwest.
Okay.
But hold on. I know because I read about it.
That's how they have the cutoff. That's how they figure out what the states are. That's where the state lines are. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It's not.
Okay, the zone had 4. Okay, this zone had 4 of the largest earthquakes recorded in North American history, with moment magnitudes estimated to be as large as 7.0 or greater. I'm on Wikipedia.
Mm.
So, I know there was one at wasn't it like the 1800s? December 25th, 1699, the first written record of an earthquake felt in the NMSZ was from French missionary traveling up the Mississippi with a party of explorers. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay, is this the one?
Oh my lord.
I'm trying to say, the one they talked about, that if it happened today or in modern times, it would be probably billions of dollars worth of...
Oh, I bet. Oh, I can imagine. But where was it?
Hold on.
Oh my lord.
That's a lot of information on here.
Of course it is. You have to do your research.
Okay, maybe this was the one. And in February 7th of 1812... Well, look it up, you guys. It's like... Just look up New Madrid fault line. The epicenter was in New Madrid, Missouri. That's February 7th of 1812. This was the largest event in the series, and it destroyed the town of New Madrid. At St. Louis, Missouri, many houses were severely damaged, and their chimneys were toppled. It appears to have occurred on Reelfoot Fault, a reverse fault segment that crosses under the Mississippi River just south of Kentucky Bend and continues to the east as the Lake County Uplift. So, and then there was hundreds of aftershocks between 1812 and 1900. And then they go on to say that modern activity, the largest NM New Madrid SC earthquake of the 20th century was a 5.4 magnitude quake on November 9th, 1968, near Dale, Illinois. The quake damaged the Civic Building at Henderson, Kentucky, and was felt in 23 states.
Wow.
People in Boston said their buildings swayed. At the time of the quake, it was the biggest recorded quake with an epicenter in Illinois. Within the epicenter in Illinois in the state's recorded history. Wow.
Well, we're not near Cairo.
No,
but I
that's
can understand,
south. That's
yeah,
south,
but I can understand why we get the.
We're in the southwest suburbs of Chicago, so.
But I can understand why we get the.
Oh yeah.
You can feel that, so. That's why the beds shake, not for any other reason. Mm-hmm. Anyways, but you've been through floods and blizzards.
Floods. You weren't around when the flood happened.
I was very little.
Or very little.
I was very
That was
little
when we
with
lived
one of
up
them.
north, and I walked in the backyard, and it was to my knees, the water. Mm-hmm. And we had a basement, but it flooded so bad, and it ruined. Luckily, it was it was all stone and what is that called? It was not done, unfinished. Yeah, but yeah, it ruined the washer dryer. So we had to get a new washer dryer. Luckily, it was covered, but luckily. It seeped in only 2 or 3 feet in the basement, so... Plus, there was a creek behind the house, so that did not help.
Oh, that's right.
So that's why,
we got
the flooding.
More
flooding, yeah.
Well, there's a picture of you with your, raincoat on in the water. I'm like, great.
Yeah, what was I sitting on?
What?
Wasn't I sitting on your house? Those large plastic house? That's right! You were probably 2 or 3.
Yeah, that survived. Because we gave it to a cousin later on. Yeah,
it was
we gave it to a cousin later on, so at least it didn't float away.
That's true. That's true. Plus, it was an enclosed backyard, so it wouldn't have.
And the blizzards we've had.
Oh, yeah.
The snow. I think the worst was in 87 here, which was about 5 feet. Mm-hmm. And then...
I have a picture of Dad when he was able to and get the... He's shoveling, and then he's shoveling snow, and it's over 5 feet. He's on either side. So. And
then it happened again in 2014 or 2012. So, yeah. It was bad. I mean,
it's
the point where everything closed, which is very rare around here.
Yeah.
The snow will close something.
Yeah.
Because usually they're like, there's a foot of snow. Go to school.
Yep.
It's got to be 2 feet around here. I'm like,
at least, yeah. And especially if
I'm like, isn't this child endangerment?
Especially if it gets cold, if you get freezing temperatures and snow, it's just dangerous.
That's actually more dangerous than the snow.
Yeah, and what else do we get?
What did we get below? What were we, minus 10 a couple of years ago for a month?
Oh, yeah.
We're to the point where Lake Michigan had chunks of ice still melting from the bottom of it in June.
During summer, yeah.
That's how cold it was, and that's how frozen the lake got. Mm-hmm. So I was like,
and Lake Michigan is huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And what else do we have?
We hit tornadoes, which we had a couple lately.
Oh, the freezing weather, just the freezing rains and all. That's very dangerous. Yeah. You run into black ice. Well, you hope you don't, because
you don't want to run into black ice.
Doesn't matter if you have 4-wheel drive at that point, because you're just gonna slide.
Doesn't matter if you do have 4-wheel drive. You shouldn't drive like that anyway.
So lately, what have we seen? Was it
tornadoes?
Colorado too, with the flooding. A lot of flooding.
Yeah, flooding
in different places.
So, because we did get hit with some rain, but we're high enough where it doesn't affect us in some places. So.
Right. Yeah. 2 weeks ago it dumped. It just dumped, and there's certain roads where they have to cut them off or mark because they get the high water, and you can't pass through it.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you have a semi.
Even though we're flat, it's still you do have hills and it's
rolling hills.
Yeah, rolling hills and stuff. So it will accumulate and make it dangerous.
Yeah.
Oh, what was the other one? Oh yeah, we had how many? What did I say? 17, 18 tornadoes within a 24-hour span last week.
Oh yeah.
In fact, we had a microburst, which I didn't even know you could count a tornado, an EF tornado 0, but that's what it was technically.
Right.
But it was literally 5 seconds.
Big boom.
Yeah. So.
I thought it was fireworks.
Jeez.
Oh no, it was a tornado. Oh, it was? I'm like,
it was literally a 5-second tornado.
Poor Dougie. Our poor dog.
Yeah.
Our little furry niece.
Yeah.
She's downstairs with me, so when that happens. That and fireworks.
Yeah, and the poor doggos.
Yeah.
Poor doggos.
Well, I think that's it, right? That's pretty much as far as disasters that we get around here.
Hopefully that's it.
I hope so. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Knock on real imitation wood.
Yes. Well.
All right. Well, be safe out there, because you never know.
Oh, yeah.
And catch you later.
Bye.